Hey guys, what's going on? This is wishkotheferret. Thanks for hopping into the ferret den where we're keeping things warm and we're keeping things cozy. Today we have a collective reading for you. It is Mercury retrograde and I'm feeling it so hardcore right now. I actually have two tarot decks out of commission, so we're actually going to stick mainly to Oracle today. I have another tarot deck next to me just in case. I feel called to use it, but funny story. Call it Mercury retrograde or whatever have you, but I was in the bathroom doing some planty things because I water my plants in the bathtub, and I had forgotten that I had left my water glass on a table that my ferrets could reach, and they dumped it all over the tarot deck that I had for like a decade. I had that tarot deck since like 2013. I was like, so the damage is not extensive. I can still use it for readings, but one or two of the cards are a little bit warped, so I'm a little sad about it. So then I settled down today, the next day. So I said, well, I'm still going to do these readings. I'm just going to push hardcore because I knew it was a sign immediately. I was like, no, I can't do the signs. But I said, you know what? The next day I was like, I came in with fresh energy. Let's do it again. I'm ready. Like, I was like, nothing's going to stop me. The universe ain't going to tell me no. Right as I was about to sit down, I bumped my table. My water glass spilled on top of my Tarot of Dragons, my very nice new deck that I got. The damage isn't that extensive. I will still use it in readings, but the edges are a little bit frayed. And I was like, what are the odds of both of my tarot decks being out of commission within 2 days? This is like, I don't know. If you're watching this the time it's posted, then you understand the time frame that this is posted. I never feel Mercury retrogrades. I'm sitting here like, it's a myth. Not that it's a myth, because I study astrology, but this is the first time I think I've really felt it very hardcore. So, anywho, getting down to it, if you didn't read all this, I probably posted it in the community tab already for you to look at. But essentially, that was the story, blah, 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 as to why I'm posting a bunch of collectives instead of individual signs. Spirit wants me to keep it short, keep it real, and venture off into pouring my energy into other projects like the Patreon and then planning a bunch of other stuff for the future to come. So that being said, I do have 3 decks mashed together right here. It's kind of, I was inspired because Minnow Pantera actually recently did like a mega deck mashup, and I was like, oh my gosh, that's so cool. So again, if you haven't checked out his videos, if you like his style of reading, definitely check out Minnow Pantera, because I don't know, always very positive and uplifting, but I feel very inspired, so I'm gonna have my angel readings, or my angel cards right here. It is angel prayers, angels and ancestors, and angel prayers and angel ancestors, and the angel guide. So they're all by Kyle Gray, and they're already shuffled here and ready to go. And I'm also using Shaman's Dream by Alberto Villoldo and Colette Baron-Reid. So let's hop on in and we'll see. So as always, drop into your heart space. Let the dust spiritually, physically, and emotionally settle around and within you so that you can determine which messages are for you and which messages are for others at this time. And I'm going to step into my space and say my prayer while I connect. So thank you, Archangel Michael, for casting your light of protection around me at this time. Thank you, angel team. Thank you, spirit guides, for connecting me with a collective energy. Thanks for connecting me with the purpose of this reading. What is our purpose for this collective reading? So I'm hearing STEM, so either some of you are in the STEM field, or it is stemming, it means like a stemming from this card. So this card has actually overflow, overwhelm, and plenty. So the focal point of this is like having abundance around you already, or having abundance coming to you. So it's coming actually in various forms. I'm feeling rushes of energy from different areas of life. So they're saying every situation is a little different, but everyone who is listening to this has avenues of abundance that they are not recognizing or not using. And Spirit's like, we're harping on you in like a gentle way. They're giving me like a very face value way of speaking this, so I'll probably try to make it as gentle as possible. But it's almost like Spirit kind of coming on you saying like, hey, like, turn your attention to like all of the other things in life that you're not paying attention to. And that's not in terms of like you've neglected these things and you need to like do chores or something to keep. No, this feels like it's almost like it's kind of like turning your attitude a little bit. So I'm hearing that you're in a tumultuous time right now, and perhaps you're focusing a little bit too much on that. It's kind of sapping your energy when you have all of these other avenues of abundance that you can work with. Okay, so you could actually be going into this group think mentality right now. This is a very colorful card, and I love it. So you have this card called Mindful, and the thing with this card is that like it's not really becoming clear to me what this card actually means, but the intuitive message that's coming through is that you are actually like subject to some groupthink. So perhaps the energy right now is that you are getting sucked down perhaps by other people, or this situation is kind of hampering your greatness, because the clarifier card we have right next to it is Knight. Be brave and honest. Just need to speak your truth. Stand up for yourself, because if these energies are speaking truths that you don't align with and you're kind of going with it anyway, you need to say something. It's almost like I just heard stop stalling. So sorry, this is coming out a little harsh, and I mean I do want to make it clear. Spirit is coming through a little bit direct. So I don't know what kind of energy, like I am channeling like a higher source energy, but it's almost like them saying like this should never feel like pressure to, like, you can make your own choices, and Spirit will fully support you 100%, and they will try to back you up. But what they're saying is when they are direct like that, when they are speaking in a direct and firm manner, it is always from love, and it is always in such a way where we can back you up if you do this. If you want to align with yourself and you want to get the most out of our help, here's how you can further align with your soul so we can bring miracles to you. Okay, so anytime I say something firm or direct, it is never meant to like make you feel pressure into actually doing something. It is actually the mindset that like you need to have. I actually had to learn this with my guides, because my guides speak very directly to me, and sometimes it is kind of brutal, but it can be given in a loving manner sometimes. Like I receive it in a loving manner, and sometimes it's like just very firm. It's out of love, but it's firm. You know what I mean? But essentially there is kind of like this groupthink mentality that you kind of need to step away from. And there's also falling angel, spiritual narcolepsy. So for whatever reason, I'm actually getting like the medical narcolepsy, and I'm not saying like somebody has narcolepsy or anything, but they're showing me actually, and it's meant to be like a metaphor. Okay, so somebody who is kind of stopping and starting and stopping and starting, almost as someone who suddenly just falls asleep and then wakes up and then falls asleep and then wakes up. So, and that's kind of what this card is with spiritual narcolepsy. It's almost like it's time to fully wake up and speak your truth, but it's like, it's almost like there's like this stopping and starting motion. That's the kind of energy. I just heard like you need to hit the gas pedal. So whatever it is that you want to do, not saying like you have to take action on it, but there's something about like allowing yourself to be vulnerable and allowing yourself to open up, because it's almost like you're kind of starting and then you stop, and then you kind of start and then you stop. Whatever that energy is, at like try to pinpoint where that push and pull is in your life, because for some of you, you're hitting the gas pedal, which in terms is like by gas pedal, like opening up. So it doesn't necessarily mean moving faster or making like being a human doing and like constantly doing things rather than a human being. But Spirit wants you to open up spiritually and remain open, so that you can not only receive blessings, but receive the healing that you need, because the clarifier card with it is Water Guardian, connect with your emotions. So for this card, especially when paired with spiritual narcolepsy, I do feel like a lot of you just need to settle into your boundaries a little bit more. Settle into your boundaries and kind of let your spirit speak to you. So if you're sitting in meditation, or if I just heard like, okay, this is coming through really tough. I'm sorry, guys. I just heard like this could be something that you are crying about, and it's like spirit wants you to like stop crying and start like doing something about it, because it's connecting with your emotions is very important. Connecting with your emotions is very important, but it's almost like you're kind of past that now. It's like you're past the point of connecting. If you haven't done the connecting already, then you're on your way to that, giving yourself space to connect with your emotions, and then letting yourself be open and vulnerable to that so you can experience them, let them go through you, and then start speaking up or speaking out in a way that actually resonates with you. Spirit's telling me to wait for a second. So when you open up your emotions, they're showing me that once you become vulnerable and open up your emotions, I see somebody descending from the heavens with like a pillow, and there's like something nice on a pillow. So like, I don't know if it's like a crown, because sometimes like that's what we typically see is like when something's on a pillow, it's like, oh, the crown for the king. And that symbol for me is taking back your power. So when someone's putting a crown on my head, that to me is indicating that I'm not going to let anybody tell me what to do. I'm not going to let somebody's words bother me. That I'm fully aware of my capabilities, and I can hold my own opinions. So there's more depth to that, but Spirit is saying that if I kind of go a little bit more, then it's going to start becoming more narrow and detailed, and it won't be general anymore. We have the covenant, sacred contract. This is usually something that's written, something that's meant to happen or fated. We are all creators of our own destiny, but there are some things that, we were destined to live through. And this is also asking for some type of like commitment. I'm also hearing something about a compromise. So perhaps this is something that you are, it's almost like you need to engage in some type of compromise so that Spirit knows what you want to manifest. The clarifier here, though, is signs from heaven. Thank you, heaven, for sending me reminders of your presence. And the first thing I'm thinking of is that you actually have loved ones in heaven that are sending you reminders. So if you know anybody that has passed, first of all, the first message that's coming to me with this one is that if anyone had any untimely deaths, if there was anybody who passed I feel like every death is tragic in its own way, but if somebody had died, especially like maybe like before their time, or if you felt that maybe when they passed it was too soon, or you have yet to get through the grieving process, Spirit wants you to know that that was actually something that was written for them, or it was like contractual, or like that, like their decisions were their own type of thing. So if they had passed from their own accord, then that was something that they needed to either fulfill or live with. That was a decision that they, like if it was like a decision or if it was just a tragic accident, something about the fact that it was written that it was either going to happen, or that they were meant to deal with something like that would amount to something like that would like be so I don't know, it's hard to explain because there's like a little bit of a trigger warning here for people who are like but I mean like people who pass by suicide, and they like there's a contemplation usually of like, oh, whether it was written or like in the stars, or whether but I mean like, as somebody who has connected with Spirit, not like I'm not like as thorough or as knowledgeable or well practiced as a lot of the celebrity mediums, of course. But in my connection with Spirit and from my studies, from my understanding, first of all, we don't know everything. And secondly, there are I read somewhere that there are multiple exit points that one can take. And depending on how things in life line up, and depending on the choices that we make, those exit points can be made sooner, they could be made later. And that just goes to show that we are creators of our own reality, and there are only certain things that you can take on your plate. So if you're taking on any guilt, shame, blame, or whatever the case may be, or if somebody had passed and you had like a terrible argument with them, or you had like unresolved things sitting with them, just know that this is something that they want you to let go of. So if there's any grief, if you're harboring any grief or upset over someone's passing, they want you to let yourself have that space to heal, because they don't want you to be upset over their passing. I mean, like, it's natural to, but it's almost like they're here for you. They never left. They're still in spirit, and they're still watching. And I just heard that they're waiting for you to come to the other side. So however long that takes, though, I just got the chills. So however long that takes. So, like, time is irrelevant on the other side. They see past, present, future all at the same time. So you could be 20 years old now. They will still be waiting for you 80 some years from now. God willing, you live 100 years. But that is something that they want you to take extra special care. They want me to take extra special care to mention that, they're not going to forget you in this time. They'll wait for you. I see you. I know what you're doing. Okay, so this isn't for me, but this is a nod in my direction because I get this card when referencing one of my loved ones that have passed over. So I think that's funny. But the card Composure is also coming out. So, okay, thanks. I don't know. I just heard someone, I just heard, like, I don't know if it's like someone else out there energy. I just heard someone say, just give me a comment on what I was doing. And I was like, okay, thank you. But let's stay rooted in the guidance here. So Composure is actually a card of needing to lay down your swords, needing to lay down, wanting to combat people, wanting to combat yourself, especially if you found yourself kind of beating yourself up over things. Spirit wants you to kind of take a step back. It's almost like they want you to kind of, it's like, they said derailing your attention, but then like the second I said that, it's almost like showed me a picture of a train veering off of its tracks kind of, and that's what I feel like you're doing. Like maybe you had a set path, or maybe like just your, whatever direction you're going in, it feels like you're kind of getting startled off the tracks a little bit, or you're letting yourself kind of fly off the tracks. And Spirit is saying, like, really, like, be grounded and keep your composure. Like, breathe through it and be calm, because this too shall pass. This moment, this upset in time, it's only temporary. It's a temporary condition. There are solutions I'm hearing for you. There are solutions available to you, or there are routes to take to ease, or like to comfort you, or to help ease some of this upset. And just keep an eye out for them, because if heaven will send them your way if you haven't found them already. Okay. What else do I feel guided to pull right now? I don't know. I feel like one more Shaman's Dream and Angel card, and then we'll move from there. Ooh. Okay. So straddling worlds, wandering between realms, and as a clarifier, you have clear, cancel, and release. So some of you could quite literally be in between one world or another. And then this could be in a metaphysical sense. This could literally be just, I just heard trekking through time. Some of you could be doing like past life regressions, or whatever the case may be. You're studying those things. Some of you could also be moving from one area of your life to the other. So if you're transferring jobs, if you're moving homes, perhaps you are not quite fully out of one situation and you're not fully engaged with the next situation, but you're in a weird transitionary time. And I'm just hearing Spirit say, get connected, because you might feel out of balance now, because it's almost like you're not really sure which place to be in, or you're not really sure where. It's like a weird in between, like it feels very like, it doesn't feel comfortable. It feels very uncomfortable, and it doesn't feel set. I don't know why. But there's something here where Spirit says, like, get connected, like, feel connected in yourself, and then try to anchor yourself in a space that feels like home. I just heard, like, the word home. So either whether this is in the home or feeling some type of, like, I don't know, like, whatever your vision of home is, like wrapping yourself in a, like, a warm blanket with some hot tea and just chilling in bed or on your couch or whatever with a book, or if it's just sitting out on a porch somewhere, even, like, it doesn't even have to be home, but something that makes you feel, that something that reminds you of home or feels home. So, like, walking out in nature or sitting by water could be feeling like home for you, or quite literally being at home. It could be just, like, going to visit some family for a while that makes you feel at home, or you know, maybe you feel at home in a certain coffee shop or a bookstore, or I don't know if you're like something. I'm just throwing examples out there. But whatever the case may be, they just want you to clear, cancel, and release any situation that is no longer serving your benefit. And this could be in the form of thoughts that are coming through. This could be, actually, I do feel like this is external energy. So there's, like, chaos around you. I mean, like, whatever. If you're watching this time, it's posted. Mercury retrograde. It happens. We're between a solar eclipse, a hybrid solar eclipse, and a lunar eclipse coming up within, like, a 2-week time span, both falling on a new moon and a full moon. So it's very intense. And, like, all the planets are just crazy right now. So that doesn't mean that, you know, we can't have good things happen during this time. And, like, you're probably feeling, like, the overwhelm and the plenty, too. This could also be overwhelming, and, like, this overwhelm and plenty card kind of gives me the sense that you feel overwhelmed, too. So I do feel like this clear, cancel, and release not only is, like, you know, taking a break from anything that doesn't feel fully aligned, even if you don't have to have, like, a great, quote unquote, if you're looking at me, I'm putting up the quotes right now, you don't have to have a great reason for taking a break from certain people in your life. Even if, like, they could be kind, but if they just don't fill up your cup, and if you really just don't have the energy, it's okay to be like, okay, I need a break from that person for a little bit. I'm gonna, like, you know, I just heard, like, going to your stash, whatever that means. I don't know what that means, like, you know, but whatever the, like, for some of you, like, oh man, if I don't want, no, I'm not crossing a line. I'm not going to do that. But anyway, if you have something to go to that helps you relax, like a meditation coloring book, or whatever helps you relax, Spirit is actually encouraging you to go to those things and just, like, unwind a little bit and unravel. But that feels like, if it's a thought and you're feeling like things are kind of piling up on the inside, this clear, cancel, and release card actually comes with an amazing exercise that I love to teach, okay? Especially as somebody who has a psychology degree, I think this is so effective. So quite literally, if you hold up your hands like this and you think about it, you think about the thing that, or, like, whatever's bothering you, or, like, just imagine your situation. It's like a very physical representation of clearing your energy, and I love physical representations. We use them all the time when we're, like, for dry baths, when we do Reiki, when we're done, we get people's energy off of us by doing, like, this, we're clearing our body, just imagining it, and I sometimes got to do, like, a full-on scrub. But anyway, clear, cancel, and release. So you do this, and then you think about the thing, or have it in the center of your mind, and you say clear, cancel, you breathe in, release. And then you just completely just throw it down and think about something else. And then, like, you're quite literally just, like, try to, and you could do it as many times as you need to, just to, like, try to, it's almost like you're shaking it off and shaking it away from your heart space a little bit. It's almost like, get back, like you're fly swatter, like a whacking it away. I love that. I use that quite often when I'm like, nope. And it helps. It helps get myself centered. I like to do it 3 times. 3 is a very powerful number. I know people use, like, you know, what was it? They knock 3 times sometimes on their deck to help assist with their readings or their tarot, their oracle cards. Or they say sometimes, like, when you're clearing, like, the air of spirits or whatever, it's like some people snap 3 times. Some people clap 3 times, or you just make noise with something 3 times. And that's, I'm not sure, like, what that's rooted in, but it is, like, an older, like a witchy belief of, like a pagan belief of, like, okay, again, don't quote me, I don't know, it could be, but it's definitely an older belief of, you know, do things 3 times, and then, you know, the negative energy is supposed to dispel, or it's supposed to help it scatter. But, you know, with those beliefs, you know, it holds power. 160 for your angel numbers from Kyle Gray. As always, I like to end my readings with this. 160. God is as loud as your willingness to listen. Do everything you can to listen deeply. So one more time. God is as loud as your willingness to listen. Do everything you can to listen deeply. The pause is because they have 3 dots there. So, and again, God does not necessarily have to be the religious, whatever religious God you're thinking of. It can be just universe, source, angels, guides, whatever it is you connect with. Could be just love. I use God as a very interchangeable term to connect with anyone on the channel, because Kyle Gray is like a very using Christianity as a backbone and does use God a lot, but it doesn't necessarily have to mean for you God. Okay, but that being said, I was about to say a sign and I was like, what sign is this for? So thank you everybody for checking in. If this resonated with you anyway, go ahead and like and subscribe and all the things. That way you don't miss content from me. I'm launching a Patreon very soon, so keep an eye out for that. I will be throwing out more collective readings here soon and shortly, so keep an eye out for that as well. I do weeklies and pick a cards and collectives and all that stuff. So, yeah. I love you, and I'll see you next time. Bye.